Hi, thanks for staying with us. I'm Jenny Groh. Kelly Starling with AT&T is here. She's a frequent guest on PSL Living, and she has some great tips for parents of new cell phone users. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So a lot of kids, I'm guessing, got cell phones for Christmas and other holidays.
Absolutely. That's always like a big item on the wish list.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's a lot of them that have them, and I thought it would be a good time to give some tips to parents of kids who are, using their first cell phone ever.
Okay. And so what can we expect?
Well, the first thing that we would advise is before they really get busy using that phone is set boundaries. Sit down with them and make it clear how they are allowed to use the phone, but most importantly, how they are not allowed to use the phone. And make sure they know from the get-go that you will be monitoring their activity. You have a right as their parent to monitor the activity.
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing. The second thing, since texting is the primary way that kids and teens want to communicate, make sure you talk to them about the do's and don'ts of texting.
Okay.
Like, if you don't want them texting until their homework is done, or no texting at school, or a lot of kids will do this, that, lights out, they go to bed, they're under their sheets texting, no texting once you're in bed, or
at the dinner table.
I was going to say, we were just talking about this, no texting at the dinner table. So make sure they know the do's and the don'ts.
Okay.
If they're on social media, and most of them are today, if they're on Facebook or Twitter, make sure you adjust the privacy settings to the most stringent settings they have. But then stress to them that even though it says privacy settings, there's nothing really private. When it's on the internet, it's out there for the whole world to see. And we've heard stories, it could be there forever and come back to haunt you. So encourage them to really think before they post or tweet, because that could be something that follows them for the rest of their lives. Another important tip is parental controls. So talk to your provider and ask them, what parental controls do you offer? Do you have any location-based services that we could take advantage of? Because with parental controls, again, it's not only like an additional peace of mind, but it really allows you, the parent, to determine what kind of wireless experience your child is going to have. So with parental controls, for instance, we have something called smart limits, where the parent, either through your smartphone or through a computer, it's a web-based tool, can go in and you can determine the times of day that your child uses that phone, how they're using it. It can block up to 30 numbers. You can determine, from school hours, say 8 to 2:30, I don't want this child to be able to, text or make any outbound calls or download anything. You can even set a monthly limit on data usage, on purchases. Maybe you're okay with your child downloading a game or two, but you can go in and say $5 in purchases. You can also use that tool as an incentive, saying, if you bring your math grade up next semester, maybe we'll give you $10 a month in download purchases. So you can use it that way as well.
That's great.
Also, ask them about location-based services. We have something called Family Map, where you can track another family member's cell phone location. So again, if you have a child that takes a bus home, and you want to make sure at 3 o'clock Jimmy's supposed to be off the bus at the bus stop, you can get alerts that let you know, that will remind you to check, and then it will show you the location. So that gives parents peace of mind, especially with kids that take a bus, that maybe go to extracurricular activities, want to make sure they're at home when they're supposed to be home. And all that, again, not only gives you peace of mind as a parent, it gives you control over the child's experience.
And as fun as that phone may be for the kid, like you said, to go on social media and that kind of thing, it's a safety precaution as well. I mean, just to make sure that child has, phone access, that they can make a phone call should they need to.
For us as parents, it's really about peace of mind. We want the peace of mind. For the kids, for them, it's like about being cool, fitting in, which is why I say at the very beginning, sit down and say the boundaries and let them know. I do the same thing with TV. I went through and started blocking all these channels. And my husband's like, what? I can't even watch the Discovery Channel? But it's because he's at that age now.
Right.
Sometimes he's up later than I am on a Saturday night. I want to make sure he's not just flipping through and getting to the wrong channels.
Absolutely.
The other thing, if you want to keep track of usage, how much data or where your child is in the minutes, ask the provider. Every provider has a way to monitor that. Like we have star min pound for checking minutes and star data pound for checking data usage.
Okay, because that definitely gets away from you.
You don't want any surprises when the bill comes in.
No, not at all. That is great information. And we're seeing kids nowadays, I mean, younger and younger and younger have these cell phones, and if they want to have them, that's a very big responsibility. So you definitely, like you said, set the boundaries, lay the groundwork. This is a very big deal. This is not just a toy.
That can access a lot of information that you want to make sure you manage and monitor.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. That's such great information. We really appreciate it, and you were so great at coming out. Absolutely. You give such great tips and information to parents and cell phone users alike, so we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Kelly Starling. Yep, Kelly Starling with AT&T. Happy New Year to you.
You too.
And we'll see you again real soon.
Okay, thanks.
And we'll be right back after these messages.